The stage is huge, glittering with lights, a live audience buzzing with excitement. Simon Cowell sits in his iconic chair, arms crossed, eyebrow raised, clearly skeptical. Camera pans to the Filipino contestant backstage, a humble young singer, wearing simple clothes, gripping the microphone nervously. His friends and family wave at him from the audience. Visual hook for Philippines audience. Quick flash of his hometown streets in the Philippines, kids singing along with him, neighbors cheering, a proud mother wiping tears. Filipino flag subtly in the audience, fans holding Pinoy pride signs. The first note, shock factor. The contestant walks on stage slowly, head down, shy smile. Silence falls. Everyone expects a typical audition. He takes a deep breath. The first note comes out. It sounds exactly like Elvis Presley. Audience reaction. Gasps, murmurs, jaws dropping. Simon Cowell leans forward, eyes wide, whispering, "Wait, is this real?" Close-up of other judges, stunned and speechless. Heidi claps softly, Howie leans in. Philippine pride moment. Cut to his family. Mother covers her mouth, tears forming. Friends in the audience cheer, Pinoy power. Social media flashes on screen, tweets exploding with, "Filipino Elvis is real." Emotional build-up. Camera shows the contestant's hands shaking slightly, he's nervous but determined. He closes his eyes, letting the music guide him. Each note perfectly mirrors Elvis's tone, vibrato, and charisma. The audience is silenced for a beat, then erupts into applause. Simon's moment. Simon stares, utterly speechless, leaning forward in disbelief. He mutters to himself, "I've never heard anything like this in my life." He presses his hand to his chest, clearly moved, but trying not to show too much emotion. Philippine connection. Cut to a montage of Filipino fans watching at home, cheering, some crying, proud of the young talent representing the country. Show brief flashes of the contestant's journey, singing in local competitions, practicing alone in a small room, dreaming big. Cliffhanger ending, hook for next episode. He finishes the first song perfectly. Silence falls for a split second. Then the audience erupting into wild applause, some even standing. Simon finally breaks his usual composure, whispering, "This kid, he might be the real deal." Close-up of the contestant, shy smile, sweat on his forehead, proud yet humble. Why it hooks the Philippines audience. Emotional pride. Showcasing Filipino talent succeeding on a global stage. Relatable backstory. Humble beginnings, dreams coming true. Dramatic reveal. Simon Cowell, the tough judge, shocked beyond belief. Viral potential. Perfect for social media clips highlighting Filipino Elvis. The stage is brighter this time, the audience fully charged from episode 1. The Filipino contestant walks on confidently, holding the microphone with quiet determination. Simon Cowell sits forward, intrigued but still skeptical, as the other judges exchange excited glances. Philippine pride moment. Camera pans to family in the audience, mother wiping tears, father's eyes glimmering with pride. Filipino fans outside watching online react with flags and emojis. Pinoy talent never fails. Performance build-up. He begins with an energetic Elvis classic, but this time, he adds his own flair while keeping the signature voice intact. Every gesture, hip swing, finger snap, is Elvis perfect. The camera captures Simon Cowell's jaw dropping, Heidi clapping, whispering, "This is insane." Howie leaning forward, cheering. Audience reaction. Standing ovation starts mid-song. Judges can't hide their amazement. Simon mutters, I can't believe this is real. He is Elvis." Backstory and emotional hook. Mid-performance, a brief montage flashes. The boy singing in his small hometown. In the Philippines, practicing alone at night, using his father's old Elvis records. Neighbors and friends cheering him on, offering encouragement. Why it matters for the Philippines audience. Shows humble beginnings and the universal dream of success. Highlights Filipino resilience and dedication to talent. Climactic moment. He hits the high notes flawlessly, adding a personal twist with a Filipino touch in his style. The audience erupts even louder, some are jumping out of their seats, waving flags. Simon Cowell stands for the first time, a rare gesture, applauding in awe. Simon's line, emotional beat. "I've judged thousands of singers, but this kid, he just changed the game. I don't know how he does it." Ending hook, cliffhanger. He finishes the song. The audience chants his name, Filipino. 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 Camera zooms on Simon, smiling, slightly nodding. He's got the heart, the voice, and maybe the crown. Cut to his family, crying tears of joy, hugging each other. The screen fades out with social media reactions exploding. Hashtag Filipino Elvis is taking over. This kid just stunned Simon Cowell. Why this episode engages viewers. Shows growth from nervousness to confidence, inspirational arc. Highlights Filipino pride and relatability, hard work pays off. Builds tension and excitement for the next episode. Perfect for viral clips and social media shareability. The stage is brightly lit, audience buzzing from previous performances. Simon Cowell leans forward, intrigued, deciding to challenge the contestant with a tricky, iconic Elvis ballad known for its high notes and emotional intensity. The Filipino contestant steps on stage, calm but visibly nervous. Philippine pride moment. Quick flashbacks of his small hometown. Neighbors watching on TV, kids singing along, mother smiling proudly. Filipino viewers watching online feel tension and pride simultaneously. The challenge. Simon says, "You've stunned us so far, but can you handle this song?" Very few have tried, and even fewer have nailed it. Audience murmurs in anticipation. The judges exchange excited looks. Emotional hook. Contestant pauses, takes a deep breath, then confidently nods. Camera shows his hands gripping the mic, determination in his eyes. Filipino audience at home already cheering silently, proud of his courage. Performance. Technical mastery meets emotion. He begins the song slowly, every note precise, capturing Elvis's signature vibrato and energy. Midway, the song becomes challenging, high notes, intricate phrasing. Close-ups. Simon Cowell, jaw-dropping, eyes wide, leaning forward. Heidi and Howie, visibly moved, clapping along. Audience gasping, some holding their breath. Philippine pride moment. Flashbacks of him practicing late at night in a small room, using his father's old Elvis records. Shows Filipino determination, discipline, and passion paying off. Climactic emotional beat. He hits the final, extremely difficult high note perfectly, adding a subtle Filipino stylistic flair that makes it uniquely his own. Audience erupts in standing ovation, judges rise in astonishment. Simon Cowell whispers in awe. I don't know how he just did that, that was flawless." Emotional connection. Close-ups of family in the front row, tears streaming down their faces. Filipino fans online explode with hashtags. Hashtag Filipino Elvis, hashtag AGT history. Ending hook, cliffhanger. Simon presses his buzzer, but this time, it's a nod of respect, signaling he's officially recognized the contestant's incredible talent. Simon says to the camera, "This kid isn't just talented, he's extraordinary. I want the world to see this." Cut to the contestant, smiling humbly, sweat on his forehead, as the audience chants his name. Filipino, Filipino, Filipino. Why it engages the audience. Heightened tension, the judge testing him ups the stakes. Technical brilliance, audience marvels at skill and control. Emotional storytelling, humble Filipino boy rises to a global challenge. Perfect mix for viral clips, social media shares, and national pride. The stage is grand, lights shimmering, audience buzzing from the previous performances. The Filipino contestant walks on with a calm, humble presence, holding the microphone close. Simon Cowell, still impressed from episode 2 and 3, watches closely, this time curious about his backstory. The audience senses something different, there's an emotional energy in the air. Philippine pride moment. Quick cuts to his hometown. Small streets, children listening to his old practice recordings, neighbors cheering him on. Viewers from the Philippines watching online hold their phones, tears forming, hearts swelling with pride. The twist. Personal story revealed. Before the music starts, the host briefly interviews him on stage. "You've shocked the world with your voice, tell us your story." He shares, with humble sincerity, "I grew up in a small town in the Philippines. My family didn't have much, but music has always been my dream. Elvis inspired me, and I wanted to honor that." Audience reacts with soft applause, moved by his honesty. Emotional hook for the Philippines audience. Highlights Filipino values. Perseverance, humility, and respect for family. Shows that talent can rise from humble beginnings. Performance. Heartfelt fusion. He begins a ballad infused with Elvis style but adds subtle Filipino touches, melodic ornaments common in traditional Filipino music. Every note is perfectly controlled, powerful, yet tender. Close-ups. Simon's eyes widen. He wipes a tear. Heidi and Howie visibly moved, holding hands. Audience members standing, some crying. Philippine pride moment. Montage of local fans watching online, some waving flags, others recording their own reactions. Friends and family in the live audience cheering, emotional. Climactic emotional beat. He reaches the final high note, held with perfect vibrato, blending the emotion of Elvis with his own soul. Silence for a heartbeat, then the audience erupts into wild applause and cheers, standing ovation. Simon Cowell, usually stoic, is overcome with emotion, saying, "I don't think I've ever been moved like this on this stage before. Your story, your voice, it's incredible." Ending hook cliffhanger. Close-up of his family hugging, tears streaming down faces. Cut to Filipino fans cheering online, hashtags trending, hashtag Pinoy Elvis, hashtag AGT Filipino star. Simon leans toward the microphone, smiling. "The world needs to hear more from you, and I think they will." Screen fades to black, teasing the final round or grand performance next episode. Why it engages the audience. Emotional depth. Personal story resonates with viewers, especially Filipino audiences. Demonstrates resilience and humility, core Filipino values. Keeps tension high while building anticipation for his ultimate triumph. Perfect mix of talent, story, and cultural pride, ideal for viral moments and social media sharing. The stage is dazzling, spotlights sweep the arena, golden confetti hangs in the air, a roaring live audience fills every seat. Simon Cowell sits upright, unusually alert, anticipation written on his face. The Filipino contestant steps on stage, this time, calm, confident, and ready to own the moment. His family and friends are on the front row, holding each other, tears of pride streaming. Philippine pride moment. Quick cut to a montage. Local streets in the Philippines watching on TV, cheering. Children singing along, inspired by his journey. Filipino flags waving in the audience, digital cheers trending online. Opening performance. Iconic Elvis energy. The music starts, a classic. High-energy Elvis rock and roll hit. The contestant moves with charisma, matching Elvis's stage presence perfectly while adding subtle Filipino flair in gestures and expressions. Camera captures. Audience on their feet, clapping and dancing along. Judges' faces lighting up, Simon leaning forward, incredulous. Close-up of the contestant's focused, humble smile. Mid-performance emotional twist. Mid-song, he switches to a powerful Elvis ballad, blending emotional depth with technical mastery. The audience, judges, and home viewers are mesmerized, completely silent except for the occasional gasp. Simon whispers, awe-struck, "I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this, anywhere." Philippine pride highlight. Cut to his family crying tears of joy, hugging. Short clips of Filipino fans online, some wiping tears, others cheering. "He's our pride." Hashtag Filipino Elvis. Climactic moment. The contestant hits the final high notes flawlessly, blending power and emotion perfectly. Audience erupts into thunderous applause, standing ovation. Judges rise simultaneously. Simon Cowell can't contain his excitement. This is history. This performance is unforgettable. You've got everything. Talent, heart, soul. Heidi and Howie join in, clapping and cheering. The crowd chants his name, Filipino. 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 Grand recognition and emotional closure. The contestant bows deeply, humble yet proud, as confetti rains down. Simon leans toward him. "You're going straight to the top. The world will never forget you." Camera pans over. Family hugging, ecstatic. Friends cheering and filming. Filipino viewers waving flags online, hashtags trending globally. Emotional and cultural impact. Shows Filipino resilience, humility, and talent shining on a global stage. Leaves the audience feeling inspired, proud, and emotionally moved. Perfect for viral clips, TikTok reactions, and YouTube shares. Ending hook tease. Fade out with a final shot of the contestant looking at the audience, whispering softly, "This is just the beginning." Screen fades to black, teasing international recognition, global fame, and the Pinoy pride story continuing worldwide. Why it engages the Philippines audience. Emotional payoff. Humble Filipino boy achieves international recognition. Highlights cultural pride. Filipino audience sees themselves reflected in his journey. Dramatic tension plus spectacular finale, perfect for YouTube and social media. Inspires viewers, shows talent and persistence can overcome any obstacle.